Right, we're live and welcome back to another Beard Invades. This week I'm invading Andy H is for turning. Let's get Andy on screen. Welcome, Andy.
Hello there. Well, good.
Doing?
Thank you for inviting me.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, I've seen you in the chat in various live shows and my live shows and everybody live shows, and
yeah,
you know, I've never actually up until we did this Tuesday put a face to the name. It's
no, it's interesting to do. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a feature of what we're doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we're talking to people. We really have no idea what they look like. It's
no.
Interesting.
Well, we were just talking about this off screen. But anyway, so welcome to an invasion. Thanks for agreeing to it. I promise I'll make it as painless as possible.
Thank you very much.
And right, so before we get into this, we're going to have a little look in the chat, see who's in there. Guys, if you're in the chat and you want to ask Andy a question, you know the score, put a couple of capital Q's at the beginning, and I'll try my best to spot them. Right, let's just have a little look who's in. Wood Wizardry by Colin. Welcome, Colin. Nice to see you at the top again. Peter Corcoran, Doug Miller, the Blue Light Turners Workshop, Richard RJK Spinning Wood. We've got Lawrence. Who else? Wayne the Woodturner. I'm never any good at this, Andy. You'll have to bear with me.
I tend to use the participants list on YouTube. It's easier.
Yeah, but if they haven't commented on that, then
then it doesn't tell you. That's right.
Sneaks Warlock, thanks Clive for the massive like bomb on Instagram earlier on. I've just not got around to thanking you on there. We got Di in. Alison Heath, welcome, Alison.
That's my wife.
Oh, welcome, Alison. Nice to see you in my chat. Circular Wood by Keith. We got Pole Barn. Hi, Doug. We've got loads of people in. Whitebeard, my old man.
That's right. Yep.
You know what? One day I'm going to remember to bring my glasses into the workshop. I might get a spare pair of glasses and leave them in here.
Yeah, I've got new ones, so I have to wear mine now.
It's right with the StreamYard. It's different on the YouTube. The StreamYard, it's smaller and it kind of makes you funny. Gerard the French Turner. We've got BB Turning. Who else we got? Tommy's Workshop. Love Angel. Jim Conian.
Conian, yeah, I think. Yep.
Sorry, Jim, if I've destroyed your name, but welcome anyway. And I think that is it so far for people that are chatting. Okay. Right then. So, Andy.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, you've told me what you used to do for a living and you know, that sort of thing, and how it's kind of gone from a living into a hobby.
Yep.
The same medium. So what are you up to now, or what did you do before this?
I've done all sorts of things, but I started off in building, but I didn't like that much. I went and trained as a teacher and qualified as a woodwork teacher, secondary school woodwork teacher. It's an art-based course, but woodwork was my specialism, and that was where I first did a bit of turning. I'd done woodwork at school for 1 year, but didn't do any turning because they didn't let anybody use the lathe. But so then I managed to get a job as a woodwork teacher in Billingshurst, just up the road from where I live, and I've been in this area ever since. I was about 23 then, so it was 47, 50, 70, 1970. So a long time ago. And I've been in this area ever since. I then did all sorts of jobs. I taught for 10 years, decided I was having a family, so decided it was time I earned some money. And teaching in those days was paid very poorly. So I got a job with Everest Double Glazing as a surveyor. which at the time they were the biggest company in the business. They're not anymore, but they're not a shadow of their former self. But moved on to that, to a variety of things, and eventually ended up having my own company, which went bust in the recession in the 80s. And then after that, I had to try and sort of scratch a living. So I was self-employed, employing two other guys, fitting windows and doing fascias and soffits and anything we could get, flat roofs. I've done a lot, really. It was a very interesting time. And then I had to have a heart bypass operation 21 years ago, which rather put the mockers on things. And so when I'd recovered from that, I thought I've got to earn a living somehow. So I became a part-time school premises manager. Then my wife came along to the same school as head teacher, so I thought it was time to move on, and got a job up at the school. Excuse me, the school that my son had attended. He's got cerebral palsy, so he's very severely disabled, and so I got a job up there as premises coordinator, to give me my proper title. And it was a building that was built in there was a 100-year-old manor house, and the rest was built in the 60s, so it was very shoddily built and very poor condition, extremely poor condition. So there was an enormous amount of work to do there, and I got it up pretty much into shape by the time I left, which was when I retired 7 years ago. And I had always said all my life that I was going to do wood turning when I retired, and it's the only promise I've ever kept myself. So, and here I am doing it. So I've been turning solidly for 7 years. I've done all sorts of bits in the past, over the previous 50 years. But as I say, first turned at college and was taught then in the days when you didn't have chucks, you didn't have anything like that. You just had between centres or face plates, and that was it. Glue chuck if you're. No, God, no, absolutely not. No, nothing like that. It was a very different world. I mean, it's a union graduate lathe, so you couldn't turn the head round or anything, and that's what most of the schools had in those days, and the training colleges. Lovely, solid lathe, but very small, and usually a bit low because they're built for kids. So interesting. But yeah, so that's a potted history.
Yeah, it's mad actually. I've spoken to quite a few wood turners that have got into wood turning later on in life, because when they were at school, it kind of sparked their interest at school, but they wasn't allowed to use lathe.
No, that's right. There was only ever one in each workshop, and if you've got a class of 20 usually in the school workshop, it's very difficult to supervise one person on the lathe and have the other 19 running riot. So that's to me, it's quite logical, really, but it doesn't help push wood turning.
Yeah.
So then, when Maggie Thatcher came out and said that she was not for turning, I thought this is prejudicial. This is not good. So I made a stand and said I'm going to be Andy H is for turning. That's where my title comes from.
Well, I was going to ask you this actually, because this is a question that I was going to ask in a bit, but I'll ask it now.
Right. Okay. Go on then. Yeah.
So it always puzzled me when I saw you in the chat actually, and I saw Andy is for turning.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's really got it yet, but yeah, that's what brought it. It was a joke. I mean, it was a bit of a laugh. I was talking to my son-in-law, I think actually it was at the time, and he started doing a website for me, which I've never really finished. But he put that as Andy is for turning, and then when I got onto YouTube, that was too confusing, so I had to put the H in just to distinguish that it was me. Then I discovered Andy H bespoke. But he spells his Andy differently, so that's all right. He puts A-N-D-I. Yeah. But no, that's how it came about. It was a bit of a joke between my son-in-law and myself, and I quite like it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a unique.
It's something different. Yeah.
If someone was to search Andy H is for turning in Google, your YouTube channel would come up, because I don't think there isn't.
It does. It comes up first. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's what it's all about.
And I'm always top of the list of participants as well on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Andy Hill just comes up above me if he's in, but if he's not, I'm usually top of the list. Yeah.
Brilliant. Dan, the sidings workshops in. We've got Baz from Real Simple Things popped in. Wood turning by Barry's in. BB turning. Love Angel, I think that's going to be a little bit better now. She just mentioned that She couldn't really hear me. Maybe it was just a little too far away from
Yeah,
my
it could
ear.
be. Happens, doesn't it?
If I put it too close, it rubs. It does this. So,
Yeah, facial hair is not the friend of microphones.
no. Okay, right then. So remember, guys, if you've got a question for Andy, pop it in the chat, and I'm sure he'll be happy to answer it.
Absolutely.
Right. Let's have a little look at your channel.
There's not a lot there. Won't take very long.
Well, to be honest, it's no, we're not there. Let's pop. Oh, I thought I had your bit. There you go. Ah.
Andy H is for turning up the top.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so you currently are on 228 subscribers.
That's right. Yep.
You've got 10 videos.
Is it 10? Good Lord. Doesn't time fly?
Good. I mean, you've only been doing this 3 months, so
that's right. Yep.
You're doing well.
Yes.
A lot of people aren't even above 100 subscribers.
I haven't actually done any videos. These are all live performances because I haven't mastered editing yet. So I thought I'd just leave them as lives and get onto that later.
To be honest, there's no rush. You do it in your own time. There's a lot to learn, really, when it comes to editing.
Yeah.
But if you can do live shows like this and people come in and they watch, then that's, Well,
they're certainly coming in and watching and making some lovely comments. I mean, thank you to everybody who does that, because it really does mean a lot.
Okay, there's some nice stuff on it. I'll have to, I watched this one here with the banana bowl.
Oh, yes, that was a shame, that one.
Yeah.
It's a shame that the tenant split off.
Yeah.
So I had to get over that, but that was fine because it's all part of teaching people how to do things, isn't it? It's how to get over problems. So I don't need to apologise for that, fortunately. So.
No, I mean, and the good thing is, if you one of these people that remove, when you get round to editing and that, if you're one of these people that removes all the mistakes, it's not as fun for the viewer. The viewer wants to see the mistakes.
It's a bit sanitized, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit of interest, a bit of dirt in there. It's nice.
Yeah.
So to speak. I mean, figuratively speaking.
Yeah. Okay. So why YouTube? What made you upload that? Because you haven't uploaded. What made you hit that?
The live button. I can't remember what it was. There was something I needed some information on. I wanted to do something, so I thought I'd just have a look in YouTube and have a glance through, and came across a very well-known turner who was producing lives 3 times a week, and got somewhat hooked on it as a participant, as a watcher. As not somebody who's doing it. So that was when lockdown started, really. So I'm quite new to YouTube as a whole. So it's only the last a year and a half or something now, something like that, that I got into YouTube. And then, I'll carry on from there to how I got involved in actually doing lives. Keith Greenfield, who is part of our club, the South Downs, West Sussex Woodturners. Sorry, give him the right name. And he lives just up the road from me, and we were chatting, and he was saying, you should have a go. And he really pushed me into doing it. I'd said that I was interested in doing it. I was beginning to get some of the equipment together. I had a few cameras and what have you. And I thought, I'm going to do it properly, and there's no point mucking about with it. So I've got, I think, 8 or 9 cameras now, and Stream Deck and what have you. But I wanted to be set up properly to make it look a bit slick, a bit professional. And thanks to Keith, I did actually get into doing it, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But as you say, it's only 3 months ago, the first one, and I'm very, very grateful to everybody that I've got as many subscriptions as I've got, to be honest. They came in thick and fast.
It's nice to see that people are actually interested in watching you and what you do. I mean,
It's quite flattering, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we all do. I mean, anyone that does a live, they're always looking at the, top of the screen to see how many people are watching. But if you're new to the whole YouTube thing, and there's people I remember when I did it the first couple of times, I had like 9 people in.
Yes.
There's actually 9 people that have come to see what the hell is going on.
Yeah, and that's magic, isn't it? I mean, it really is. Even just 9, it's fine. Yeah. I was very fortunate. I think probably a lot of people knew Keith, and he was earworming for me, and all that sort of thing that helps. But yes, I was around 40, I think, on the first one when I actually did it. Yeah, 47, I think it was, and it's been a fairly constant number. That number then, and it goes up into the hundreds as soon as you leave it on YouTube. More people come along and look at it.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, like I say, it's just really nice to see people that are interested in something.
Yeah. I'm not after numbers. I'm not chasing the subscriptions, but it is nice when people do.
Yeah. Right. Shall we have a little look at your workshop?
Yes, I'm going to try.
For the new people, for the people that are here tonight, there's a few that I've noticed in the chat. Mark at the Garden Workshop. There's a few that may be new to this, and the reason it's not me being nosy.
Feel free.
And the whole reason for doing these tours is so that people can see that Andy, the beautiful stuff that Andy's churning out. You can see, the tools he's using, the space he's got, and you can think.
Have I? What space is that then?
Exactly.
You'll see in a minute.
Some people don't have massive workshops.
No, that's right.
They have to get by like you with.
Yeah, you don't have to have a huge workshop. It would be lovely, but it would be cold. This one's at least nice and warm and cozy. So right, I'm gonna just unplug my headphones and hopefully they'll keep on working, because it went flat just at the end of Scott's live. Right, there we are. Yeah, we're still working, so it's promising. I'll switch over to the other cam, which is that one. And excuse me if it wobbles a bit, but I've not got a steady hand. Right, so that's where I've been sitting. My computer is there, and keyboard and what have you. The tools, the lathe chucks and what have you are behind it on the wall. I've got a fair array, because you have to have, don't you? I mean, if you've got something you fancy, you got to get it. There's the threading jig there, which I should be showing in one of my lives before too long, the Simon Hope threading jig, which is quite fun. Coming around the corner, we've got my lathe. Sorry, I'm just trying to move so that I can see the screen. There's another screen up above the lathe over there, so I can see it from both ends. That's my lathe. It's the Axminster 406. Lovely lathe. Very, very pleased with it. Bit of storage underneath. Lots of stuff crammed into odd corners and stuff above it. And sorry, I'm getting drunk. There we are. Varnishes and what have you up on the shelf above. Monitor there. All my tools.
Someone's just actually commented on the monitor. It was Dan, the siding's workshop.
Yeah.
He said, I like the monitor up in the roof.
It's got. I was a bit stuck for space to put it, but it's on one of those swiveling brackets, so I can still get to the paper roll that's behind it, and anything else I need to get to. But it's quite useful to have it there, because when you're at the lathe, you can see that. I can't see the one over to my left, even though it's a small workshop. Underneath there, we've got all my tools, a variety of tools, usual sort of stuff. Lots of lights over the lathe, because the eyesight's not what it used to be. So yes, a light there, another light there, just to make sure I can see what. Sorry, go on.
One of those magnetized lights, with the magnet that sticks to your headstock.
This one.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I haven't turned it on, but yeah, that's on a magnet on top of the headstock.
Brilliant.
Which really works well, and I can move it down onto the bed of the lathe if I need to look inside things. It really is. And then I've got a little one over here that is not turned on either. Still isn't turned on. No, that's the compressor. I've just turned it off here, that's all. Don't worry about it. Right, there we are. So there's the little one, which is actually very useful. I can turn the big one off when I'm live online because this is too bright. It bleaches everything out, you know. So, but it's really useful when you're turning otherwise. So yes, that little one is just a tiny little single LED light, which is quite handy. I say all my tools across the back there, various bits and pieces. My motto to you may be only a shed, but to me it's sanctuary. My wife supplied me with that, bless her. And then her hair dryer, of course, for drying stuff. Dust extraction. I've got the flexi pipe, which is really good. I'm so impressed with that. You just bend it to where you want it to be, and it stays there.
Oh right, is that aluminium? Is it?
No, that's plastic, but it's stiff plastic. Yeah. Comes from Axminster, and I've just bought a metre of it, and it's joined to the pipe behind there, and it's absolutely fabulous. That pipe then goes up the top to the ceiling, comes along and joins where the bandsaw one comes in, through the wall and out the back, and I'll show you that in a minute, which is where my dust extractor is. Bandsaw is.
You've got your abrinet then. Your abrinet turned up then.
Oh yes, it did. Yes, sorry. Yes, that's there. It turned up the Wednesday. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but yes, I've got that. Axminster Trade bandsaw. It's a nice big bandsaw, but it's so used because I can't get a table saw in here, so I've got to use that for everything. I have got a chop saw as well, but that's tucked under a bench somewhere. But it's a lovely saw. It works very, very well. I'm turning round quickly because I'm facing the wrong way. Nice double doors there, so in the summer I can have the doors open, get a bit of light in, a bit of air in. And then we're round here to a sanding station, that's the Proxon one. Very nice, very nice. That was a 70th birthday present to me. Oh, nice. And the little pillar drill, well, not so little, the Axminster one again, Axminster Craft. It's the one that the whole top comes out.
Oh yeah.
And you can get a huge piece of about 2 foot diameter or something on there, and drill the middle of it. So it's a nice tool.
I think the only one of those I've seen is when I invaded Clive at Sneaks Wall Art. He's got something very similar.
Right. Yeah. It's like it takes up a lot of room.
Yeah.
Because it goes back a long way because it's got to come forward a long way.
Of course.
So, but another one of the magnetic lights on top of it. Because as you can see, the eyesight's failing, so I have to have lots of light. This usually holds another camera. The camera I've got in my hand, it's on this sort of what do you call them? Whatever you call them, the light fittings things that move around. Oh, hello.
Sorry,
is that my?
Me.
Oh, it's you. I thought my headphones were going. So yes, that's that bit of a heater. Just try and keep me warm. I've got a little workbench over here, which is my sort of fabrication bench, if you like, but it gets cluttered with junk very readily, as you can see. Cordless is hanging up over there. More junk, drill bits and what have you up there. And then through the back here, I cut this. This was a wall all the way across when they built the workshop, the shed. And so I cut through it. You can see it's constructed with 40mm. So I can't see the pictures from here. 40mm solid timber, the outside walls as well, which gives it a fair bit of insulation. And then we've got the dust extraction there with the excuse me, the Axminster, tripping over bits of timber, the Axminster, the very fine 1 micron filter, is it? Something like that on the top there. And then there's lots of timber storage. I've got given so much timber, it's unbelievable. It's rather nice. I like it. But there's all sorts of stuff in there, some of it good, some of it not so good. A few more tools over there. Can you see that? Yep. Yep. So I can't see what I'm showing you at the moment because the monitors are in the other half. And the sharpening station down below. Got a lot of mess, but apart from that, there's a grindstone. The Tormek sharpening. Yeah. The vacuum chamber for when I stabilise timber. A little oven for when I cook it after I've stabilised it. Just only a little tiny one, just camping type thing really. Yeah. And there's various other bits of tools and what have you around them. More logs underneath the bench. More logs stacked here that I can't stop me getting in sometimes. But hey, but it's all rather nice. I'm going to trip over this cable and unplug it in a minute if I'm not careful. And then back through here and I'm into the workshop again.
Brilliant.
So if I switch back.
You've certainly crammed a lot of stuff into there.
There's a lot in here, yes.
Yeah.
It's but I can't remember the actual size, but it's something like 2.5 wide and maybe 5 long, but it's got the corner missing. So it's a small workshop.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what you can get in if you need to, and more stuff keeps arriving all the time, and I squeeze it in here somewhere. But
another extension on it soon.
No, the garden's too small. This takes up half the garden, so it's a very small garden with the extension that we built on the house as well. So yeah. Okay, anyway,
yeah. We have a couple of questions.
Right,
guys, I'm hoping that you can actually hear me because I had a couple of comments about my mic. Right,
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So Peter Corcoran, what tools did you buy at Yandles?
I'll confess I didn't buy any tools because I was hoping to get the Simon Hope hollowing, the square one, with the bigger bit, but they don't sell any Simon Hope stuff down there.
Oh, no.
So I walked off in a huff. No, I bought some timber. I spent 80 quid. I bought some timber, and a polishing mop and a brush for putting wax on, and bits and pieces. So it wasn't a vast spend, but it was really just nice going down there, having a day out and walking around with my friend Robin.
Sorry, I'll put that over there.
That's all right. It's ever so loud.
Yeah, because I can't hear anything. I love to go to Yandles. It's about 50 miles from me. It's not far.
Was that all? Oh, that's not far. I had no idea where you were in the country, so.
I'm in Poole in Dorset.
Oh, right. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Any opportunity I can go, but if you go to Yandles, you've got to take a bit of cash with you because there's so much stuff there. I mean, the wood.
Lovely. Yeah, lovely timber. Yeah, it is. It's 2.5 hours from here. So it's quite a journey. In fact, that was 3.5 going down because of the A303, is it? Was just solid with traffic.
A31 probably.
No, the A30. It's a three number.
Oh, okay. All right.
It is the 303. I think it comes down from Londonish. But,
all right.
and, I mean, we took a diversion and missed the worst of it, but it was still quite horrendous as we got down towards Somerset.
Yeah.
But we got there anyway, so it didn't matter.
That's it. So we've got a message from Lawrence. He's saying, I really like Andy turning. He's a great gentleman. That one can enjoy him turning with a lot of one time. What?
Yeah. Well, Lawrence is always a good supporter. He's always there, and I really enjoy having people like him watching because he'll ask questions. He's not afraid to ask a question or two or three. But it's great. It's lovely, and it's like belonging to an elite club almost. The same people, the same names come up all the time, but they're very welcoming to any new names that turn up. And I can't fault it. I really can't fault it. It's great. It's lovely. It gives you a real feeling of being supported. So, and I'm very much the new boy, really. But yes, they've certainly made me feel welcome.
So we've got a question from Clive from Sneaks Wall Art. What's the one tool or machine you would love to have?
Asked me that a few years ago and it would have been very simple. I'm very happy with the lathe I've got. I'm very happy with the bandsaw I've got. I think probably the next thing would be a Dremel.
Okay.
I've got a little imitation Dremel and it's pathetic. It's got no power at all. It comes with a vast selection of bits, most of which are useless. But it sort of introduced it to me, if you like. So I think probably the next thing, I bought some Dremel tools this morning for the Amberley Museum, and I think I just might be tempted by it and do a bit of texturing with it. I'm not into carving. I'm not arty, but I would love to have a go at some texturing using that sort of equipment.
Yeah.
So yes, that's probably the next one for me to get.
Yeah. So Dan the Signings Workshop. Does the computer stay in the shed all year round? Do you ever get issues with cold? and the CPU?
I don't know. It's only been in here for 4 months.
Yeah.
So, but it was pretty cold, pretty cold when I put it in. I like cold personally, so I don't have a problem. I don't feel threatened by cold. I have had the heater on, and I leave the heater on all night. Or it's thermostatically controlled, set fairly low, but it acts as a frost stat, if you like. It'll keep the frost off things. I've had no problems. Touch wood. I think dust is going to be a bigger problem than temperature.
Yeah.
I suspect, and I keep forgetting to cover my keyboard. The participants are very good at reminding me, fortunately, because they catch a glimpse of my screen in the tailstock camera, and they say, "You haven't covered it up yet," which is nice. That's lovely. They're looking after me.
I mean, it's important to have good dust management in such a small space that you've got. Anyway. It is. Yeah, I've only just redone the dust extraction, and it is so much better. I can't tell you how much better it was. The other thing I didn't show when I was showing you around was the one on the ceiling, which is the record 400, isn't it? Fine particle, is it?
Yeah, it's the record 400. It's a standard bit of kit, but it does keep it runs, and it's on a timer, so I can set it going as soon as I walk in, and then leave it running when I go out, because it will turn itself off. Yeah. So that's a good bit of kit, and it does make a difference, no doubt about that at all.
I tell you what, I'll tell you a bit of story about I've got the Atkins the fine particle that I've got in the other workshop in there, and when I was turning Coca-Cola bowl, the great big one, I was really aware of how bad that dust is. So when I was turning it, I had my dust extraction really close to it.
Yeah.
Even that didn't do it enough, because when I cleaned out the filter of the particle extractor, it was red. It was just red.
Yeah.
And
you can soon
in the air.
You can soon tell as soon as you blow your nose, can't you?
Yeah.
You can see what you've been breathing in, and it's not always a pretty sight. In fact, with that, it looks like a nosebleed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yes, it's important though.
Yeah, definitely. A couple more questions. Rob CP Woodturner.
Thanks, Rob.
Is there anything that Andy would like to make but hasn't yet?
Apart from a fortune,
Right.
I don't know, because if I fancy making something, I have a go at it. So I don't think there's anything particular. I would like to make a bigger bowl, which I will do now. I mean, I've got the lathe for it, and I've got the will to do it. It's just getting a blank, basically. Yeah. So I think I'd like to do something about, I don't know, 14, 15 inches diameter, something like that, maybe.
There you go, guys. If you want to see Andy turn a massive bowl, send him one. Send him a blank.
Oh, that would be lovely. Absolutely superb. Yeah. Because, I mean, that's the only thing stopping me is getting the blank, isn't it?
Yeah. Benjamin, what tunes do you have playing when you are in the zone?
I don't really. I tend to whistle or hum a lot, but you know, whatever comes into my head. But I don't have a radio in the workshop at all.
Right. Okay.
I find it as I've got older, I find it more difficult to work with noise going on, and that really is an age thing. And I don't. When my little grandson comes down, he's just 3. He makes a lot of noise, and I can't think. No. And I think in the workshop, it's more useful to be able to think than enjoy relaxing music. I have no problem. I have no problem relaxing. I'm so laid back. I'm almost falling over, you know. So I don't have a problem with that. So I don't have music, basically. So apologies for that, Ben. But I know you youngsters don't understand that. But
right. Okay. So we're kind of running out of time. We have got a couple of questions. I'd rather ask the people's questions in the chat than my questions. So Di Prout says bowl or spindle.
Spindle is my favourite, without a doubt. I mean, I like to do bowls occasionally, and I did one a couple of weeks ago, a week or two. I don't know, whatever it was. But spindle turning is my favourite. But it's difficult to find enough things to do, isn't it? Sometimes you've got to do something which is going to be a bit different, which is why I did that earring stand last time, because that was spindle moulding, but it was in 4 pieces instead of just out of one lump of timber. Which is what I've done in the past mostly. So yeah, Oh, I saw this one coming up. Thank you, Stuart.
So, Stuart Ferrini, what was the most rewarding thing you've made?
I think I'm gonna give you a big head now, Stuart, because I think it was probably when I first started doing platters with your inspiration. I did that ribbon platter, which I think I sent you a picture of, and I was so chuffed with that because it really turned out well. It was vivid colours. It just and it sold instantly. It was just a very interesting thing to do, and it's relatively simple, but the techniques are fairly simple. But it just worked out. It just came out right, and I've done several different platters since, and I really always enjoy them. I did my second live, I think, was platters with a very formal, rigid pattern on, and I'll be doing another one before long. Yeah. So yes, So you asked for that, Stuart. Thank you very much. But that probably was the most rewarding thing. Yeah.
So Clive from Sneed to Wall Art is asking, will you ever tinker with resin?
I don't enjoy turning resin, if I'm honest. It just doesn't sit right somehow.
Oh, okay.
I think I probably will at some point, because I've got to do. I've done resin or acrylic pens from pen blanks, and quite enjoyed doing them. But I like the feel of timber. It's in my blood. I've been in woodwork for so long now that I like the feel of timber. So yes, probably, but I'm not going to put a timetable on it.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, this is just a bit of some that I've seen. Ian in the shed I'm looking into getting a fan mounted in the wall to suck the dust out. Not sure how well it will work. Now, I've seen a guy do this with a quite a powerful fan. The ones that rotate.
Yeah.
Chopped it up and he's put it in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's done is on the back of it is cable tied some filter. The filters that you can.
Oh right, yeah.
Units. They're like clip-in and they're about. So,
yeah.
Cable tied it on. That's maybe something you can think about, Ian.
Yeah, it's you've got to be a bit careful if you're going to do any live demos. Then the noise of the fan becomes important. These microphones are absolutely fabulous at reducing the noise of the lathe, the noise of the dust extractor. It doesn't seem to take out the fan noise. We tried it, didn't we, just before we started tonight? Yeah. And I turned the fan off because it's not the noise of the motor; it's the air blowing across the mic. Now, probably if I got a what do they call them? Those foam covers. There's a name.
A dead cat, or
it's like something like that to stop the wind affecting the mic. Then perhaps I could leave it on, which would be nice because it gets awfully hot in here. But
in fact, you can actually get a washing up sponge and cut it and slot it over.
That's exactly what I had in mind, if I'm honest. Yeah. So get something like that and stick it on top of the mic, and I think it would solve that problem. But it is just something to bear in mind with fans. I've got a fan that is just blowing at me because of where it is, it blows the dust away from me.
Yeah.
And in fact in the direction of the door, but I've got the dust extraction as well. But that's more to keep me cool than anything else.
Yeah.
On the 2.5 hour live that I did the other day, I got very, very hot.
I bet you did, yeah.
Sorry, go on.
We're going to skip inspirations because I know who your inspirations are, and they're coming up in the shout-outs. So, Makers Central. Shall we see you at Makers Central?
I don't think so this year, but I will try and come next time.
Yeah, next time.
I'm a bit booked up with family things and what have you, so I'm not even quite sure of the date at the moment, but I know I did look it up and it's not easy to fit in. So,
for anyone that is thinking about going to Makers Central, there are rumours going around that there's a lot of the stalls have pulled out and all that, and there's not going to be anyone there. That's a load of rubbish. They're filling up the stalls quite rapidly, so there is going to be plenty to see, and it's going to be a great weekend again. Okay, so tools. Have you got any tools that you love and any tools that you really don't love?
I I like traditional gouges, obviously, but I think one of the tools that I do like is Simon Hope. I keep going back to Simon Hope, but those who've watched my lives will have seen me use this anyway. But it's a scraper, but it's such a substantial scraper that it doesn't bounce around. It's absolutely fabulous. And they do the round one and they do a squarish one. The pair of them are really solid. They don't bounce. You know, they're not going to give way.
An inch wide. I mean,
they're more than that. They are. I can tell you. Give you a precise measurement. Lost my stool. That's a disaster. It is actually 1 3/8 inches.
All right.
Wide across. These cameras that work back to front. 1 3/8 inches across there, and they are 5/8 thick. I'm not used to doing inches. It's very nearly 5/8 thick, so it is a very substantial piece of steel.
Yeah,
and then you just swap the handles over.
Yeah.
But they really do give a nice scrape. They don't get affected. The timber doesn't tell them what to do. They tell the timber what to do, and they give you a really.
Doug from Pole Barn, he's got a really wide scraper that he uses. Massive. It's got to be 2 inches wide at least.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I remember him saying that's why he used it, because it just
something good and solid. Yep. I've got another scraper which is not quite as big, more conventional, but in fact I've done a reverse bevel on it.
Right.
Whatever they call it. That's not the right word, is it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that works quite well, but it's not as good as the Simon Hope ones. Right. And the other tool I would recommend is the Simon Hope Hollower, as demonstrated by Wayne on many occasions, with the 6mm cutter. It's a tiny little cutter, but it's quite aggressive. But it can give you a nice finish if you use it carefully. Okay. I've got the round one, which doesn't dictate the angle you have to use it at, because I like to change it and move it around a bit. But yeah, so tools, that's them.
So have you got a tool that you really don't like?
I suppose it's going to be the same answer as everybody gives, so you know what it is. The skew. I don't I don't mind the skew, but I have to think all the time when I'm using it. It doesn't come naturally to me, but it does give you a gorgeous finish. So I tell myself I've got to use it. I've got to get used to it, and I'm using it more and more, and having quite good results with it. But it's not an easy tool to use.
I quite like the skew. I've never had any problems with skew, but
no, it's a nice tool. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice tool. So, I managed to mute myself that time.
Yeah. Okay, nearly there.
Good.
So, shout outs. Right. Hang on a minute, let me
Well, the first one's been mentioned already. In fact, all three of them have been mentioned already. So we'll start with Stuart Ferrini, because it wasn't until I saw him doing his platters that I'd even thought about using colour in that sort of creative fashion. And I haven't tried some of his stuff that he's done on bowls and what have you, but I mean, it's all fascinating. The textures, the colours, and platters grabbed my attention first, so I've done more of those than other things. But it's thank you, Stuart. I mean, that's all I can say, really.
So, for anyone that doesn't know or hasn't seen Stuart Ferrini's channel, I mean, we call Wayne the Woodturner the Wood Jedi. We can quite easily call Stuart the colour Jedi.
Colour Jedi, absolutely.
All about colour.
Yeah. And Stuart is actually a member of both clubs that I belong to, which is quite nice. So we get to have a chat from time to time, or we used to in the days when we had meetings. So yes, I've got to know him quite well. He's a fellow teacher as well. He teaches English, yes. But yes, it's as I say, he's been quite an inspiration for me. So he's my first shout out.
Okay.
Number 2, Circular Wood by Keith. As a lot of you know, I've been earworming for Keith recently. He's the one who got me into doing these lives. without any doubt at all. I'd started buying cameras at sort of his suggestion, really, and he just sort of kept on supporting me and pushing me and mentoring me and giving me a few tips until I got mine up and running. And in fact, it was quite nice to try and return the compliment. I was up there on Wednesday, I think it was, setting up his stream deck. I nearly made it work. I got 3 out of 7 cameras working, so I suppose that's some progress. But excuse me, but he has very much been an inspiration. I've had bits of timber from him which have been lovely, sort of timbers that I don't get very often. So thank you, Keith.
And Keith is such a nice guy.
Yeah.
If you want to know anything about wood turning, Keith is the one to go to, because there's not much.
Yeah, he's been turning since Pussy was a kitten, so a very long time. I think 30-something years, if I remember rightly. It's a very long time. He's also a member of the West Sussex Woodturners, one of the clubs that I belong to, and a very knowledgeable man.
Definitely.
I see him down at Ambley Museum as well, which we often talk about in our lives, because it takes. I mean, he does the wood turning down there with a group of others. I've not got involved in that yet. I'm on the tools side, the Tools and Trades History Society, but it's just nice to do something a bit different. To be honest, on your day off, if you like. But I'm in my workshop the rest of the time. So yes, that's Keith. So thank you very much, Keith. He's in the chat, I think. I think Stuart was as well. So yes, he is. Yeah. Perhaps my head can get bigger, he says.
Okay.
And then last one is Wayne the Woodturner, who I think everybody will know. I discovered the Wood Jedi. Yeah, I discovered YouTube because I came across one of his lives, and he kept me coming back, and he still keeps me coming back. So I learned a lot from watching him. So thank you very much, Wayne. And you're an inspiration to so many people. I can't begin to tell you.
I find with watching Wayne, he just makes these beautiful turnings with such. It's just such effortless.
That's right. Yeah. And he just very
so quickly.
Yeah, very matter of fact. Just this is what you do, and to show you, I'll do it, and he does, and yeah, very impressive. And just watching the way he does things, you can learn an awful lot, as well as what he's saying. So yeah. So yes, those are my 3 shout-outs.
Mine this week. Now I'm not sure because I picked. I mean, an Irish woodworker's diary. He's been coming into my lives quite often, and when I typed in Irish woodworker's diary, there was a couple that came up. So I'm hoping, and if this isn't you, please correct me. But if it is, then I just let me know, and I'll put a link to your channel in the description. I'm hoping this is you because I'm just showing some stranger's channel here, but but yeah, let me know. I will and send me a link, and I will put, if this isn't you, I will put the correct one in.
This exactly makes the point that we were talking about earlier, that you meet all these people, you think you know them really well, but you could pass them in the street and not know who they were.
No,
it's quite odd. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I mean, and my shout out usually is for people that come into my lives and support me, and support the people that I'm invading. So it's just a way of me saying thanks. But I'm hoping that was you. If it wasn't, let me know, because it's not the first time I'd have done that. I do it to the shed all the time. And he always says, "Rich, that's not me."
I love it. It does me good to find other people who do that sort of thing. Yeah.
I brought Ian Matthews up or something last time. I'm sorry, and I'll keep apologising. Just really quickly before we finish up now, Wood Wizard by Colin is asking, are you going to the Chestnut weekend?
That's the one in Kent, isn't it? I haven't made arrangements to do. I was going to, and I just haven't got round to it. I don't know. It's on the Canterbury Racecourse, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to try and make it.
Yeah, I'd like to, because Canterbury's not that far away. You know, it's less than the distance down to Yandles, so but in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So, and I did go there to pick up some timber one day, so I think I could probably go there. I'll see if my mate wants to come with me and try and work it out. But I think it'll probably be for the day rather than for the weekend.
Yeah.
My wife is church. My wife is church warden of the local church, so we get a bit tied down on Sundays.
Oh yeah, I bet it does. Yeah.
So yeah, so I probably would have to. I can't remember what it is now, but I can look it up. But yeah, I will try, because I think they do a lot of good for our hobby. We can do Chestnut do a lot of good for us.
I'm going to try and make it myself. And have the weekend, take caravan down there and have the weekend, and just really to meet up with people that are going. Oh,
Irish Woodworkers Diary. Yes, you got the right person.
Excellent. Okay.
So good. That's good news. We can all sleep easy in our beds now.
If I look closely, I can actually see that your little logo next to your name is the correct one, so that's fine.
Your eyesight's better than mine then.
So that's good. So thanks for that. And I'll put a link to your channel in the description to this straight as soon as YouTube lets me. Okay, so any more questions? God, we've been going for 50 minits.
Yeah, I know.
Jiggy's Shed's just come in. Welcome, Jiggy's Shed.
Bit late, Jigsy. Go and stand in the corner. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, it's because I talk too much. But
no, that's good. It's been a great invade, and I thank you tremendously for taking time out.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Rich.
No, you're welcome.
I've really enjoyed it.
Excellent.
And it's just I'm just so glad to be part of this family, if you like. And it feels that way sometimes. I'm being a bit soft and sentimental now, but
you know what? I haven't said it for a while, but I really do appreciate the community.
Yeah.
Not just Woodturning, the maker community itself.
Yeah. And particularly at the moment with lockdowns and what have you.
Definitely. And I know that that the maker community has kept a lot of people sane throughout these stupid times.
Yeah, we're getting no contact with other people to speak of, and so it's really lovely to have this opportunity. So I really do feel that very strongly. It's why I'm doing it, really.
Well, same here. This is why I do these invades. I'm trying to help grow the community, and it's massive anyway. It's a big community. Yeah.
And it's grown. It's grown so much in the last year and a half, as far as I can make it out. And everybody's saying the same thing. Since lockdown started, the feeling has grown that people want to be involved with things. Yeah. And you realise how many there are up and down the country, don't you?
Oh yeah. All over the world. I'm just actually going to let you know what number you were as far as I usually there we go. So you are invasion number 58.
Oh really? Right. I should treat that as my lucky number.
Yes. Put on the lottery. Well, not that one that's going to help you, but
no, but hey, it might go some way.
Okay, so thanks to you, Andy. Thanks to everybody in the chat for your questions. There was loads of questions tonight, which was really nice. I was actually going to, I've run out of time to ask a couple of my normal questions, but like I say, I'd rather ask your questions than my own. And so next week for me, I'm off to Cornwall. So
have a nice one.
Thanks. There won't be a Tuesday night live, so I'm hoping that someone will jump in there for me. Maybe you can do it, Andy, if you're not busy. I'm free for the next 2 weeks, so yeah. Excellent. Well, there you go, guys. Tuesday, 8 p.m.
I'll work something out for next Tuesday then. Yeah.
Tune in. Andy will be going live in place of me. Thursday we don't have an invade because obviously I'm not here again. I'm looking at the wrong camera. Looking at that one, so So I'll still be away next Thursday. But the following week, I'm hoping to invade someone very special. There's always at the top of my chats.
Are you saying I'm not special?
No, this guy is in all. Well, I think he's been unwell, but maybe I don't know. But he's always the very first comment in all of my lives.
Right.
And
Yeah. No, only winding you up. Don't worry.
I know.
It's got to be done.
And let's thank Alison for allowing Andy to sit in his workshop.
She might have gone to bed by now, but we'll find out in a minute. No. Enjoy Cornwall, beautiful county. Yeah. It is gorgeous county. We go down there a fair bit, and it's lovely.
Well, I haven't been on holiday since before I got married, which was 21 years ago. So, and we didn't even have a honeymoon either. So
that's verging on careless, isn't it?
So,
anyway, do enjoy it. Do enjoy it.
I will. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in a week or so.
Lovely. Thanks, Rich. Bye.
You're welcome.